The Formations update is here, so buckle up because we have a lot to cover. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. Today we are covering the brand new Formations update that has landed in Rise of Kingdoms. It has been quite a long time coming, and I am super excited for this update. I think there are a lot of good things that are coming. I think there are some not so good things that are coming, but there's overall just a ton to learn. And so we're going to go through and cover all of that in hopefully a fairly short and concise video that allows you to start on this event, get a good understanding of what you should and should not be doing, and really just kind of grasp all the stuff that's been added, because there is a ton of new stuff in the game. So first things first is there is a new building called the State Forum, and you want to build this as soon as you possibly can and upgrade it as much as you can, at least until level 10. That said, the typical recommendation from me and from generally others is you want to get it to level 18 at least, especially if you're like a free-to-play. Now, the challenge with this is in order to upgrade the State Forum, you actually need a new kind of like currency. It's the Sage's Testimony. And this is incredibly reminiscent of the Book of Covenants, which means that in most cases, you're actually going to need to get these with gems. You can get them by doing the travels, which we'll be getting into in just a second, but typically you will be using gems to upgrade these, which is why the general recommendation is that you take this to level 18, and you really don't need to get much further beyond that, at least in the short term. And the reason that you do want to do that is you get your travel chances up to 17, which is great. But you also get your daily dispatches chances up to 6, which is really the highest that logically makes sense for the cost of gems in the short term. If you're a whale, go for max. There's no reason not to. The recommendation of 18 is mainly for those that are low spenders of free to play who just don't have the gems to drop right away. If you do want to know exactly how many gems that will be, link to the Discord is in the description, and you can go check that out. I do have images in the guide section for you to check out. The other reason you want to get to level 18 or level 16, but really level 18, is that you do get a major dispatch chance bonus of 0.5%. And so overall, you're getting pretty much the maximum of the buffs that you can get within reason, and it's fairly affordable. So that is the State Forum. Fairly straightforward. Now, what is this traveling thing that you can do? Traveling is kind of the core metric for how you're actually going to get these different Sage Testimonies or a lot of the random armaments that you're going to get. And armaments are the next important component of this entire update. Armaments can be added to formations. So in Rise of Kingdoms now, there are a bunch of different formations that you can use. There are about 7, and all of them have different purposes, and you can see them right here. So the formations that are really going to be the most valuable to the general public are the wedge formation. I'm a big fan of the hollow square formation, but then you have others like the echelon formation, which is built predominantly for support. And then you have the ranged attack, which is V formation, and then the arch formation, which is increasing normal attack damage dealt. All of these formations are going to be used when you're in combat, with the exception of the line formation. The triple line, or not the triple, the standard line formation is designed specifically for gathering. So if you do have that gathering march that you're sending to resource pits, you're going to want to use this formation. Now, I'll also point out that you can use one formation per march, and you have to put it on the primary commander. Now, the other thing is you can use the same formation multiple times in different marches. So let's say you have Nevsky and you want to use the wedge formation. You can do that. And then you also have Boudica and you want to use the wedge formation. You can do that. It's no problem. Now, with all of these different formations comes different armaments. So the wedge formation, I don't have any armaments for right now. But if we go over to Gilgamesh, where I have the arch formation, you can see that there are 4 different kinds of armaments that you can use. And all of these armaments have different boosts, and they're all very, very random. It really depends upon what you can pull. So as you can see, I can enable this horn and it'll give me some infantry defense there. And again, these attributes are all random depending upon what you pull. So you can have up to 4 armaments on a single commander, which I would definitely recommend you do. And the thing that I will point out here is you can't not do this. With some things in Rise of Kingdoms, you can not do it, but with this, you really need to. And the reason you need to do this is because these boosts are adding up to the equivalent or even potentially beyond what you're getting with equipment. And so not only has this update widened the gap between free to play and big spenders, but it is something that you will be having to invest gems in, whether you like it or not. So it's definitely added a new dimension to the game. Now, on to what these inscriptions are. There is the potential for you to actually get inscriptions on these armaments. And inscriptions are extra buffs that you can potentially get. They do vary depending upon which kind of armament you're looking at. So if we take a look at this inscription, we got War Cry on this parchment. And that's specific to the arch formation. But if you want to look at others, you can look at the codex and it'll actually show you different types of inscriptions you can get on each armament type. Notice, I've said that it varies depending upon the armament type. So as you can see, I'm looking at the scrolls right now and the potential inscriptions for these. If I decided to look at the horns, you would see they have different inscriptions. And so as you kind of go through this process of building out your setups, just keep that in mind as you go for your inscriptions. Now, it's also worth pointing out that these different inscriptions do come from different sources. So you can get them from traveling, which we mentioned earlier. You can get them from dispatch, which we'll be getting to, and you can get them from the armament shops. Let's go to the armament shop. If you're having a hard time finding the armament shop, that's okay. It lives within the courier station. So if you come in here, you can actually trade these silver coins for different chests. So you've got the formation choice chests and you've got Sage's Testimony. So if you wanted to get these through that, you can as well. I will point out it only refreshes once a week. So it's kind of like the VIP chest in that aspect. You can get ordinary or you can get superior. Now, I will point out to get the superior, you do need gold coins, which come specifically from legendary armaments. So if you're really a low spender or free to play, this is going to be much harder to come by. And the inscription shards come from inscription shard chests, which are also fairly hard to come by. Now, I will point out, if you do need inscriptions, they will also be coming out in the KVK shop. And my understanding is that you can actually use your KVK season coins, which if you're like me and you have a ton of them hoarded, you can use those as well. I'm just trying to find where these are hiding. I clearly don't have them there. Oh, there they are. You should be able to use these as well within those KVK shops. I will post a guide in the Discord as well for you to check out all of the different bundles that you can buy and, just other methods of getting those inscriptions. Now, if we do come to the immediate bundles here, you can see that there's the Cultivator of History, which is a $10 bundle. You may be wondering, if you're a low spender or free to play, should you be buying this? Honestly, this bundle is pretty good. Especially if you are looking to gather. You've got a bunch of gold gathering speed boosts. You've got 6% there, 6% over here. And I think all of these, my guess is all of these are for the line formation. At least I would hope so. But this is actually a pretty good bundle, especially if you're just looking to augment your gathering. I may actually buy it. So just something to consider. Now, there are other bundles that have been added to the game. And these are formation choice chests. And these are incredibly random. I watched Chisgle's stream and he was pulling these. You can spend, I believe, up to $35 on these. And I will post the bundles in the Discord. This just gives you more chances to pull different formations. And not formations themselves, but these are really the armaments for them, which I can show you right now. So if you go to your armaments section, which is new, you can actually see the different buffs that you're getting from all of these different pieces of armaments. And so all of these have different buffs and you can recycle them. So let's say you find one that you think is kind of crummy. Like, let's look at this one. This one kind of sucks. So I'm going to come in here and I will actually probably recycle it. So let's look, we'll recycle it. And you can see I'm getting one of those coins for it, which I can then use to buy the upgrade materials if I want to. Personally, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to save them up to buy more formation choice chests. I'll probably go for the epics just because I think those are going to be the more valuable ones. But if you want, you can use them for the Sage's Testimony as well. Now, on to dispatch. So every day you get up to 3 chances to dispatch if you have level 10 forum. If you don't have level 10 forum, you want to get there as soon as possible. Now, earlier you heard me recommend that you get to level 18. The reason for that is that you get up to 6 dispatch chances. So I can dispatch multiple times now, and there are different criteria for doing it. So as you can see, you want at least one conquering commander for this particular one. You want at least one epic or rarer commander, or at least 3 level 20 commanders. Now, the thing that I'm unclear on up until now is this one gives me epic potential. So it's either epic or legendary, whereas this one only gives me elite. So this is just something to keep in mind. If you're playing all day, I would imagine that the chance for the epic may refresh, which could be pretty handy. So just keep that in mind as you go through this process. Now, you can dispatch to get Sage's testimonies. I'm not exactly sure. Looks like you can get up to 20 of them. So if you don't want to spend gems on these, you can do it that way. Personally, I would rather get the armaments because I do think that they might be useful. Now, the real value here is the commendations. So if you dispatch 15 times, you can get a commendation, which can be any of these. And so you can get a legendary armament, which you can then dismantle, or you can get any of these other rewards. My expectation is it's fairly random, and my guess is that the potential for you to get the good rewards is much lower than the other rewards. So just something to keep in mind. The general thing that you want to keep in mind here is that you want to be dispatching fairly frequently. You want to be using all the chances you have every day, because this is the better chance to get these armaments, which you can then utilize on your different commanders. Now, the other question you may have is, which armaments do I use on which commanders, and which march types do I use on which? So personally, I think that the one you're going to want to use most often is going to be the wedge formation, especially if you do have commanders like Nevsky. Now, there are other situations where you would want to use other formations. So for example, the hollow square formation reduces all troop damage taken by 2%. So for me, I'm probably going to be using this on Attila, or if you have Sargon and you want to add a little bit of tankiness, you could use it on there as well. Alternatively, you could use the normal attack damage for Attila. It really depends upon what you're going to be doing. Echelon is predominantly for support. When this troop grants percentage-based buffs to other troops, their effects are multiplied. Generally speaking, the ones you're going to be using are probably wedge, maybe arch, and hollow square formation. The ranged you can use, but it is still very unclear as to exactly how this is going to work. And so personally, I'm not going to advise investing in it terribly heavily. So overall, this is kind of what the update looks like. You can travel, so we'll travel real quick here. And this gives you the potential to get a bunch of different armaments. And here is the percentages for each of them. So as you can see, very low chance of getting anything legendary, but you do want to use these up every day. Again, this is to add more daily activity. So you've got traveling and you've got dispatching in addition to your daily activities that you have every day. So here we go, we traveled, and as you can see, we got an armament. Now, if these armaments do suck, you can scrap them, which is part of the advantage here, because again, if you scrap enough of them, you will actually get enough to buy a elite choice chest. And again, you can only get 2 of these per week from here, but it is better than nothing, especially if you're a low spender. Now, if you are a whale and you do want to spend money, these bundles are actually probably worth it. So if you do want to ball out and spend the $35 a day, maybe it's worth doing that for a low spender or someone who's just trying to get their foot on the ground and really get started on here. You may just want to buy the $5 bundle, which it does look like refreshes fairly frequently. So I would recommend probably just buying the $5 bundle because it gives you the 3, and that's typically where a lot of the value is. Again, a lot of the bundles will be in my Discord, so be sure to join that down below. That is a very, very high level of how all of the armaments, formations, and inscriptions work. Now, I will point out you can inscribe different items as well. So if we come over to here, and let's see, let's go over to Gilgamesh, and let's find something that's not already inscribed. So we can look at that, and you should be able to actually inscribe an armament. So if we go over here and we find an epic, you can click this little button, which will take you to the inscription menu. Now, these inscriptions are going to be incredibly hard to come by, but as you get them, you will be able to inscribe pieces that are extraordinarily valuable. So what I would typically recommend is that you wait, if you have these inscriptions, you wait to use them until it really makes the most sense. So for example, if you have a piece that only has 2 archer bonuses instead of all 3, probably not invest on that. But if you have all 3, then go for it. So These I expect are going to be hard to come by. As you can see right now, you can just get them from the Armament shop, though I do expect that these are what you're going to be able to buy in KVK. So just something to keep in mind. There are tons of new things coming with this update. If you do want to learn more, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed, hit that like button. And if you do want to see more content from me, I have new videos coming out every other day, multiple times a week. Hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Thank you so much. Hopefully this has cleared up this massive update. Let me know, do you like it? Shappy out.